Ashes and Embers. Part 4. The Weight of Revenge. Daniel barely slept that night. When he did drift off, images jolted him awake. The stranger's broad shoulders, Rachel's tear-streaked face, the sheets twisted around them like a cruel metaphor. Each time, his chest constricted with rage so sharp it bordered on nausea. By morning, his decision felt clear. She had taken everything from him, and he would make her pay. The first step, he decided, was financial. The house, the accounts, the retirement savings. They had built everything together, but most of it was in his name. He pictured Rachel trying to explain herself while juggling bills she could no longer pay. Her gallery friends whispering about how she'd lost everything. The thought gave him a fleeting rush, but it was gone as quickly as it came. So he moved to other fantasies. He thought about sending screenshots of her texts. Yes, he'd seen enough in the past weeks, glimpses of flirtations that now clicked together. To her family, to her co-workers, maybe even posting them online. He imagined her face crumpling as her reputation shattered, her name becoming synonymous with betrayal. He thought about cheating back, about finding someone new, parading them through town, letting Rachel see what it felt like to be replaced. He scrolled through dating apps late at night, his thumb hovering over profiles, but each smiling face blurred into the next. None of them were Rachel, and that realization only stoked the fury further. But revenge, he quickly learned, was a heavy thing to carry. At work, he snapped at colleagues, unable to focus on anything beyond the storm in his head. At night, he poured whiskey into his glass until the burn dulled his thoughts, only to wake up with headaches that left him angrier. He went running until his lungs screamed, hoping exhaustion might drown out the rage, but it only echoed louder. Even when he wasn't with Rachel, she was everywhere. In the mug she'd given him on their 3rd anniversary, still sitting on the kitchen counter. In the sweater she left draped on the couch, the faint smell of her perfume clinging to it. In every song on the radio, every couple holding hands on the sidewalk. His love had turned sour, but it hadn't vanished, and that made the rage harder to bear. Rachel called, texted, begged to meet. At first, he ignored her. Then, one night, he picked up. Her voice cracked with desperation. "Daniel, please. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I love you. I made a terrible mistake, but it doesn't erase everything we've built. Please, don't throw us away." Daniel's laugh was hollow. "You threw us away, Rachel, not me." There was silence on the line, followed by muffled sobs. He wanted to hang up, to let the sound of her crying fuel his anger. But instead, he found himself listening. Against his will, memories crept in. Her hand slipping into his at the bookstore years ago, the way she danced barefoot in the kitchen when she thought no one was watching, the soft hum she made when she fell asleep on his chest. Revenge demanded he erase those memories, that he reduce Rachel to the sum of her betrayal. But love, stubborn and cruel, reminded him she was more than her worst mistake. The breaking point came 2 weeks later. He had drafted a long email to her gallery's board, attaching screenshots of texts he'd finally forced himself to scroll through. He hovered over the send button, his chest tight with adrenaline. This would ruin her, humiliate her. Finally, she'd know the depth of his pain. But as his finger lingered, he caught his reflection in the laptop screen. His face was gaunt, eyes bloodshot, jaw clenched. He didn't recognize the man staring back. Would this make him whole again? Would destroying Rachel rebuild what she'd broken? Or would it only reduce him to someone defined by rage, shackled to the very person he wanted to escape? The questions gnawed at him, and for the first time the answer seemed terrifyingly simple. Revenge wouldn't heal him. It wouldn't give him back the years they'd shared, or the love that once made him whole. It would only burn the ashes further. He closed the laptop, his hands trembling. For the first time since that night, Daniel felt the faintest crack in the armor of his anger. Not forgiveness, not yet, but something softer, something closer to release. That night, Rachel showed up at his door. She stood there in the rain, hair plastered to her face, mascara streaked down her cheeks. "I don't expect you to love me again," she whispered. "But please, don't hate me forever. I'm begging you, Daniel. Let's try. Let me prove I can be better." Daniel stared at her, the storm in his chest warring with the memory of the life they'd once built. His revenge had been within reach, but for the first time he wondered if another path might exist, one scarred, fragile, but real. And as the rain drummed against the windows, he realized the choice was his to make.